Good morning, Nepal. Good morning, everyone watching us live now. And this is yet another great live event today with the University of Northampton. And we have a very special friend of ours and the one that has specialized our market and has helped a lot of students from South Asia, including Nepal. And as you can see him on the screen, Mr. Punnet Malhotra, who is the regional director of the University of Northampton, UK, and he is joining us live right now. And I want to welcome to Mr. Punnet Malhotra, sir. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Pawan. It's a pleasure to be on your shows always.
Yeah, great to have you as always, because it's always a great insight that we receive for our market, for our potential students from your side. As I know, you've been in this industry for many years now, and definitely it's gonna be a great show for everybody to attend today. And this is the University of Northampton, a great university, teaching excellence framework. The gold status one. That means only limited universities in the UK has got that status. So it's always privileged to study at that sort of university. And University of Northampton is here with us today. Um, I would like to encourage all our viewers to drop any question in the meantime, and absolutely, we'll be taking those questions and answering them one by one. Uh, as we can see, we have several universities participating, and most of them already, completed. I mean, participated here on this live platform, and few more coming in. And we are all about promoting this study in the UK, or let's say UK education, to our prospective students in South Asia. Puri sir, thanks for your contribution so far to the South Asian students, including of Nepal. And yes, I want you to talk a little bit about the University of Northampton for our students who are playing.
Hi, good morning, everyone. University of Northampton was the third university to be formed in the UK after Cambridge and Oxford. And we offer some very good scholarships ranging from between 10% to 30% for the entire duration of the course. And this is where we are different compared to other universities because most UK universities, especially on the undergrad program, only give you the scholarship for the first year of the program. Whereas at Northampton, if you are eligible for a scholarship, you get it for the entire duration of the program. Not only that, any student who's coming on to undergrad and does well, then they can avail up to 50% scholarship for the master's program if they continue to do their master's with us. Most of our programs like engineering, IT, business courses at undergrad level, they give you a flexibility where you can take it either as a 3 years degree or as a 4 years degree. Now, that means you can have a placement year after second year. And if you do the 4 year degree, then that actually opens route for those students. If some of them want to then go to US for a master's, particularly in the IT sector, then that becomes very easy because the US generally needs 12 plus 4 year qualification. Uh, Plus, if you're doing your bachelor's in US, the cost is quite expensive. On the contrary, the same student can come to the UK and do the course in almost less than half the cost, study there for 4 years, and then come to the US for a master's. So that's another way of looking at things. Uh, 2018, we started a completely new campus called the Waterside Campus, which was where the university has invested close to 330 million pounds.
Wow.
And nobody knew that the world will go into a lockdown situation, but uh, I would say we were kind of more prepared because 2018 onwards we started using blended learning mode of teaching, so a mixture of face to face and online. And all our lectures are live recorded, like you can record this event and then listen to it later on. So, secondly, Northampton is also well known for footwear and leather courses, so that's one of our specialist areas. A lot of students who are from chemical engineering, and if they are not sure what they want to do after completing the course, then they can come into leather technology. That's a course which has got 100% placement. Now, 2017, for the first time, the UK government actually started the ranking system for British universities because these are all public funded institutions, unlike other countries. where some are private, some are government funded. UK, mostly all universities are public funded institutions. And they categorize universities into gold, silver, and bronze category. The primary parameter for that was the graduate employability rate. This is a very important factor. Whether you're from India or Nepal or any part of the world, a student and his parents are investing a lot of money on their education, and they want that their child should be able to get a decent job after completing the course. So Northampton graduate employability rate for past 10 years has been above 94%,
Mhm.
anything between 94 to 96%. Whereas if you Google it, you'll find that the UK graduate employability rate stands at around 76.6%. So there's a
Wow.
big difference there, and
Mhm.
that's a major point to consider. So we got a gold ranking in the TEF Teaching Excellence Framework, and we are quite proud of that. We are a medium-sized university. We are neither too big nor too small. So you're not just a student number. Every student is allocated a personal tutor. Uh, Only recently, Boris Johnson made an announcement that face-to-face teaching would resume in the UK in
Oh.
stages, of course. But from 8th of March, they are opening the schools, and even universities are opening up, especially where students are coming into courses like where labs are required, or fashion studio, if they are doing a multimedia journalism course where they have to be using the equipment. Then
Mhm.
those courses will start initially, and gradually, quite likely by end of after the Easter break, the whole system will start,
That's a great
provided
news, sir.
there's no new surge in cases. So they will monitor it very carefully, and then on a regular basis, everybody, even asymptomatic people, will be tested twice a
Mhm.
week to ensure that there's no second surge. And UK is already doing a lot of vaccination, so that's another thing to keep into account. It's
Mhm.
very safe. It's multicultural. We have a Nepalese society in Northampton. The lady who heads the entire university's placement division,
Mhm.
I think I mentioned this in the past.
Yep.
She went from Nepal in 2006 as a student, did her bachelor's, then did her master's with us, and now she's the head of the entire university's placement division. That is
Mhm.
called Unitems, and her name is Sonam Sherpa.
Mhm. Great.
Then we have programs which are open for May intake.
Mhm.
Like we have the MBA with placement, freshers MBA, no work ex is required, MSc Project Management, and MSc Accounting and Finance. All these three programs have a placement year option. Of
Mhm.
course, September, more courses are coming in. We have physiotherapy, we have occupational therapy. All the regular courses will run in September, and some new. From September intake, we are also going to have an MBA in finance. So
Mhm.
that's something very useful to know, because finance is one area which is always in demand. Like if you're
Absolutely.
a commerce graduate, or if you've got work experience in the banking industry, and you want to get a MBA, you can either come for a regular MBA, but if you get an MBA in finance, that makes more sense.
Mhm.
So that would have more focus on people who want to go into senior management level in financial institutions.
Mhm.
So that's a new addition to the program. Uh, Only yesterday, I was told that we might have a master's in interior design also
Okay. Mhm.
for September intake.
All
So
right.
we will meet you on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Uh, then the government also has announced the 2 years post-study work. That is, of course, a major attraction for students, whether they are from India, Nepal, or any other market, I would say.
Mhm.
Uh, because the post-study work basically helps you. And the good thing about the new post-study work is that students can shift from the post-study work into tier two at any given time.
Mhm.
The old rules, they were not allowed to shift, but now they can switch from PSW to tier two at any given time. There are
Okay.
close to 33,000 companies where they can apply for jobs. But
Wow.
of course, up to apply for tier two, IELTS is required.
Absolutely.
That's a big
That's
thing.
yeah. So many things like UK government has considered in regards to welcoming the international students, and like having them like settle down if they want to, because they have pathways to like level two, like skilled, workforce, like in a category two, and they can like actually like work on the sponsored visa by the companies, and there are multiple number of companies like willing to hire them as well. And like you just mentioned, like we have these major programs which are quite popular in our market, like in our countries, Nepal, India, and other parts of this, like South Asia. So which are available in May intake also, which
Correct.
uh, which is very rare, intake for many of the universities in the UK. And I'm glad that like we have Northampton offering these popular programs in May intake as well. Absolutely, like in September there will be so many programs, like you said, like there are new programs coming in September at Northampton. But like these programs, as we know, like are quite of demand. So I think this is the great start. um, Thanks for that. And absolutely, like for the application and all, like what would you suggest for this programs, for these three programs at the moment, like use
Well, the students
yeah.
make an application now because already we've started doing credibility interviews. The process is students need to contact your office to guide them about making a complete application.
Sure.
They need to fill in the third party consent form and UK visa history form, which then comes to my office. My
Hmm.
staff will check the documents, and if the application is complete in all respect, including the statement of purpose and at least one LOR if they can arrange it, then we will try to give you an offer maximum within 3 working days. That's our target.
3 working
Depend,
days. Hmm.
yeah, the volumes are pretty high even for the May intake. We've already got 150 applications.
Wow. Hmm.
So that's a huge number because that's almost equal to a January intake.
Hmm.
Uh, because these are some of the most popular programs. The MBA is most sought after. Project management is very good for engineering graduates, and if you look at engineers in Nepal, for example, there are a lot of hydro projects which are coming up in Nepal.
Exactly.
Both joint investments by India, by China, even the United Nations is supporting those projects.
Hmm.
Then we are one of the top universities in the world for environmental and waste management,
Hmm.
and that's a huge area of concern for Nepal.
Absolutely.
So again, students need to plus international relations. Again,
Hmm.
we always get at least 5 to 6 students every intake from Nepal for masters in international relations.
Oh yeah.
Masters
Absolutely.
in consulting also is there. So those are strong areas for Nepal.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, like where we have good scope to like implement those education like that we receive from the UK. Absolutely, like that would be more of demand. Of course, the countries like Nepal, like which are like developing to the economy, and of course, like opening those areas, like those sectors that generates like huge revenues to the economy in the future. Absolutely, like would be much of demand. So that's quite important to note those points. And we hope like we'll have students who are willing to take this sort of programs and then make their careers even better when they come back to the country. Thanks for the highlights. About the English requirements, I see on your website like the English requirement is not
Yes,
too high.
there are certain boards where we can give an IELTS waiver, but personally, I recommend to all the students that even if the university has given you a waiver, and if
Mm-hmm.
you genuinely want to, especially if you're coming with like these three programs, they have a placement year. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the logic is a UK employer will not understand CBSE board or ICSE board or any of the boards from Nepal or India.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to apply for tier 2 visa, that is the work permit, especially if you're coming for a 1 year master's, your
Mm-hmm.
IELTS is valid for 2 years. To apply for tier 2 companies, again, IELTS is required. So,
Mm-hmm.
my advice and request to students is try not to take a shortcut in life.
Right.
Do it the right way. Although they always look at and even counselors say, "Sir, can we get an IELTS waiver?" Well, even if the university is giving you a waiver and you meet the English language requirements,
Mm-hmm.
still it's better to take an IELTS. The
Absolutely. Yeah.
requirement for masters is 6.5 overall with 6 in writing. For
Mm-hmm.
undergrad, 6 overall with 6 in writing.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah. We also
preference
like.
is better, although
Mhm.
they can take PTE and TOEFL also.
Hmm.
But why IELTS is better? Because for tier two visa, IELTS is required. They would not accept PT or TOEFL for that.
Any other sort of examination? Yeah, that's very important
That's
to note at the moment.
better to take
Mhm.
an IELTS rather than taking some exam now and then 1 year later again taking a second exam
Uh,
just to do your English.
mhm.
So it's better to take it in the beginning.
Yeah, that's time consuming, and also like with that, like reseating for the test, like you might lose the opportunity. So why not like take this sort of test and then become a competent candidate for any positions that will open in the future. Uh,
Correct. Correct.
yeah, that's a great advice. Thank you for that. And about like some of the programs, I could see like one student has just like asked a question about his like cost of attendance for bachelor's in IT at Northampton.
Right. It depends how are your grades in your year 12. So, like I said, we do have scholarships. By chance, I have the Nepal entry criteria right in front of me. Let me just go through that quickly.
Yeah, please take your
So,
time.
if you have 70% in English in 12th,
Hmm.
then we can give an IELTS waiver.
Okay.
Uh, or IELTS 6 or equivalent. And in your SLC, CGPA of 2 point or B grade
Hmm.
is required minimum for admission.
Hmm.
2.6, sorry, 2.4 for admission. 2.6 or 65% they get 10% scholarship, and this is for all 3 years. 2.8 they get 70%, and 3.2 and above, which is almost 80%, they get 30% scholarship. For A levels, minimum BCC or BBC depending on the subject. If they have two Bs and a C, then it is 10% scholarship. If they have all the three Bs, then 20%. If it is ABB or AAB, then they get 30% scholarship.
Right.
For IB schools, you do have IB schools in Nepal.
Hmm.
5 to 28 IB points depending on the subject is a minimum requirement, and English at HL4 or SL5 is required. 28 points they get 10% scholarship, 30 points 20%, and 32 points 30% scholarship. So
Okay.
30 points 20% scholarship. If they've got for masters, completed 3 or 4 years bachelor's degree in Nepal from a top university like Kathmandu University, Pokhara, and Tribhuvan University, these are considered as good universities.
Hmm.
Tribhuvan University generally awards high grades to student. A grade would be required for entry onto masters from a student completing a 3 years bachelor's.
Hmm.
And again, scholarships are there. So 2.6 out of 4, they get 65%, or 65, they get 10% scholarship. 2.8 or 70%, they get 20% scholarship. And 3 and above, or 75 and above, they get 30% scholarship. This is the criteria for Nepal.
Great. So like you have a scholarship from 10% to like 30% depending on the GPA.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. And also IELTS waiver, like we mentioned earlier, also, if
Yeah.
they have like in the 17 English in their last qualification, let's say like mainly in the plus two.
70 for undergrad, 75 for masters.
Okay, great. Okay, that makes sense now. Thanks for clarifying that and like pulling out the papers and confirming the admission as well as the English requirement for Nepal. Um, thank you. So about the tuition cost, like how much you are looking at, when you are uh,
Fee for undergrad, let me just check. Yeah.
sure.
Undergrad is £13,000 for all BA, BSc, BEng, including engineering and LLB
Hmm.
degrees.
Hmm.
Health courses are more expensive, around £14,000. Nursing is 15,900. For all
Hmm.
health courses, IELTS is mandatory. There's no exemption.
All right.
Student has to take IELTS for all health courses. PG programs, MBA is going to be 14,900 for September intake. For January, for May, it is 14,750. These are all in pounds. And all MSCs will be £14,000 for the September intake. For May intake, it is 13,750. So depends. There's a difference of only £250. But the good thing in Northampton is if the fee goes up, the scholarship automatically increases
Okay.
because our scholarship is percentage based.
Hmm.
So if you calculate 10% of 100 rupees, it is 10 rupees. If you calculate 10% of 200 rupees, it is 20 rupees. So
Hmm.
effectively, the student won't lose out.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, thanks for saying about that. So on an average, like I would say like 14,000 tuition, though like you have like undergrad fee a
14
little
for
there.
masters and
Okay,
13 for undergrad.
okay, but they still have the chance to reduce that through a scholarship if they have a better
Yes.
academic. Great. Yeah, like it's very affordable costing in terms of like the tuition and all. So with the gold rating status, the University of Northampton absolutely offers the great pricing for all those programs as well. So little bit about like the placement test. Sorry, the placement. Like we just mentioned about this May
The
intake.
university would assist the student right from the beginning,
Hmm.
whether you're coming on an undergrad program or a master's program. Even if your course does not have a placement year, still the complete guidance is provided through
Hmm.
Unitimes, through our CV writing office, which supports the student, tells them how to write a CV for the British employer, and they
Hmm.
will even do mock interview sessions with them
Hmm.
to prepare them to go and face an interview with the prospective employer. So all
Okay.
that support is provided, and there's no cost to the student for this.
Absolutely. And you were talking about like our like Nepalese like cities and like Nepalese students who is now handling the placement like department at the University of Northampton, like Ms. Sonam Serpa, like who handles this application as well, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's great. Um, so like because you are outside the London, so what would you see the difference, like between the choice of the university or the programs being inside and outside?
Well, we are outside London, but we are not very far off. We are only an hour away from London. So an
Yeah,
hour by travel is not
long.
too
Yeah.
huge a distance. But
Mm-hmm.
as per visa rules, students cannot live in London and study in Northampton
Uh-huh.
because London is around 66 miles.
Mm-hmm.
As per visa rules, the student cannot live more than 40 miles away from the university
Mm-hmm.
maximum.
Mm-hmm.
So the further away they can live is Luton,
Mm-hmm.
or they can maybe live in Leicester. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the students prefer to stay in and around Northampton because the cost of living is almost 40 to 50% cheaper compared to London.
Wow,
And
that's
this
so.
is something students need to understand,
Mm-hmm.
that if you're going to a new country and a new city, because
Mm-hmm.
UK has a national minimum wage, so whether you are working in London or outside London,
Mm-hmm.
at least in the beginning, the employer will pay you the same amount of money, whereas your
Okay.
cost of living will be much higher in London.
Mm-hmm. So you could save a lot of money, like if you compare living between
Right.
these cities.
It's
Okay.
more quieter. You get a more student-friendly environment. The
Mm-hmm.
good thing in Northampton is, especially if you are taking a university accommodation,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're taking an accommodation close to the university,
Mm-hmm.
then everything in the town, including the town center, is like 5 minutes walk.
Mm,
So, as a student, you don't have to spend money on transport cost, which is a huge saving in the UK.
exactly.
Transport is pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You might
time
find
as well.
a house which is cheaper, but if it is like 5 miles away, you have to travel every day and spend money on that.
Yeah,
So, there's a lot of student accommodation available around Northampton,
absolutely.
around
Okay,
the university area.
thank you. I want to like take another question by Alice Karki. So he has got, I think, like less than.
45% is too low. We need minimum 60% for admission.
Oh
The
yes.
minimum requirement, even to take you on a 0 year, which is what we can call as a foundation year, is
Hmm.
55%. Our
Yes.
standard requirement for all courses is 60%. We don't take applications below 60.
Yeah, and I think like you got like a lower percentage, academic percentage, unfortunately. So maybe like there are some other like institutions that might help you with the 0 year. That's like foundation year, but
Yeah, but
unfortunately,
even for foundation year, we need 55.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for your question, Alice, and we appreciate that. Please contact us later on at our email and phone number that you will see in a while, and we'll see like if there are any institution on under our portfolio under our company, where we can apply for you. Yeah, we'll see. Thank you for that. And next question by Harris SMT. So he is asking about 1 year foundation plus 3 years of bachelor. So I think he is talking about combined CASA,
Foundation is only for students who are academically weak students.
right? So like you may have heard about like the college, like international college for University of Northampton. So
Yeah,
that's called,
unique.
yeah, unique, yeah. So if you are talking about that, Mr. Harry, so I think like you need to tell us about your academic background as well as IELTS, and we'll see like how whether you are eligible or not. We'll be happy to guiding you. Thanks for your question anyway. Um, yeah, thank you guys for that questions. Now we want to talk about you touched the base about like travel policy by the UK government recently. Like I as I heard also, and I can see there new policies coming in effect now. Like over the months, and by the month of July, they're gonna have like very realistic approach to welcoming the international travelers, including including the students, and also like very friendly to their own residents in the UK, like about like social gatherings and like opening up schools and all. So about the opening of the campuses, like the University of Northampton. So. Are you going to open sometime soon? Like can we expect our students
Campus is
in May
already open, it's not shut. So some students are already attending classes on campus.
on campus? Oh, okay, that's great to
Started
hear.
in January itself.
Okay, that's a good news then. Yeah,
And with the present announcement by the Prime Minister of UK, I think things will open up much faster.
yes, yeah, with all their plans. I mean the controlling actually like the vaccine distribution that has made it possible, and
Yeah.
we look forward to that picture even more clear over the months, thanks to the UK government policy. Uh, about the programs, like which you generally receive application for from, especially like Nepal. So, what are the programs that are of high interest from Nepal that you receive?
Normally, business courses, accounting, then even for psychology, we get
Hmm.
applications for masters in public health. We get applications for computing, the multiple streams in computing. So generally, these are the main areas that we get applications for.
Hmm.
And like I said, international relations, politics. Again, that's something we do have interest in from students from Nepal.
Hmm.
Plus, one unique thing at Northampton is we do offer them a flexibility of having a joint honors at
Hmm.
undergrad where they can combine two different subjects. The good thing is technically like doing a course where you're combining two separate degrees
Hmm.
and you're creating your own, where you take the main subjects as element as the primary subjects and then take some electives after that. And all joint honors give you an option of a paid placement year, and after the final year, you can then choose to do a master's in either of the subject area. So
Okay.
that's something which is quite popular.
Hmm.
Like you can do business with accounting, law with psychology, and so on.
Hmm. That's great to hear. Like absolutely, that helps our students from Nepal who could be thinking like what programs are like more of demand and like which could be more like feasible. And uh, about like visa rate, like can you talk about that? Like what's the ratio of students like visa getting it for
Right.
on not
Well, visas is never a problem for UK.
okay.
Although now what we are observing, UKVI is calling up students and
Mm-hmm.
they are being personally interviewed. But as long as the student is a genuine student, there's absolutely no issues.
Yeah.
Gap is not a problem as long as you can justify the gap. That
Mm-hmm.
there is a gap maybe because the student went into education, into work, or like somebody's done a master's say 4 or 5 years ago and now wants to do a master's again. Then that is still acceptable. Even visa rejections from other countries is
Mm-hmm.
not looked at as negatively. So
Uh-huh.
suppose you applied to Canada and you got a rejection, now you want to apply to the UK, that is not looked at negatively. As long as you are declaring everything on the application form. You
Hmm.
have to be honest when you're applying for the UK visa.
Okay. So you could say like we could say like visa acceptance rate is very high in our
It's
region.
almost 100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, Overall, at Northampton, I'll be very honest, we are very particular about the quality of the student we take in.
Hmm.
So, since we are taking, I won't say we don't take very low quality students.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
If the student quality is decent, then there's no reason for a visa rejection.
You're right, and yeah, like the process, how you select the students for offer letters, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
once the
Mm-hmm.
student makes an application,
Mm-hmm.
then there are two situations. Either they'll get a conditional offer. It can be any condition like IELTS or submitting
Mm-hmm.
their mark sheets or clear scans of their documents, whatever. Once those conditions are met and they send us the unconditional offer,
Mm-hmm.
at that stage, then your office has to put in a request with me or my team to do a
Hmm.
credibility interview.
Yes.
Then
Okay.
I have to interview the student and I'll be asking them questions about what research they've done. They should all know the university website. They should know a little bit about the area they're coming to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm traveling to Nepal for the first time and I have to come to Kathmandu, I should know where is Kathmandu?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
areas
That's so
around
practical.
Kathmandu? What are the areas of interest in Kathmandu? If I'm coming as a for a holiday, if I'm coming for work,
Mm-hmm.
then I should know the destination where I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I come to your office in Kathmandu, then I need to know how do I plan my travel and how many days I'm going to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Similarly,
Like
a student is
we need to know
expected
it
to
that
be very
in advance. Mm-hmm.
plus, they should be able to justify why they are choosing the UK as a destination, why not any other country, and within UK, which other UK universities they've compared, at least three or four, and
Okay.
then give a valid reason to choose any university they want to come to. Whether they're
Mm-hmm.
coming to Northampton, whether they're going to Coventry or Greenwich or anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
they should be able to justify why they are picking one specific university.
Yeah.
So
There.
the most
Mhm.
important thing is that they need to be aware of the correct website address of the university. They
Mm-hmm.
should visit the website and do proper research and make their notes,
Mm-hmm.
both for the university where they want to come and also the competitor universities which they are declining
Yeah.
or which they have at least researched and not considered.
Hmm. Absolutely. Like, we at Bradford, like, are qualified counselors and definitely would take these things into consideration before having them apply to the university. So, yeah, like, you must know where you're going to, what programs will be better for you, and how you're going to plan for those programs and how you're going to, like, plan for your studies. All the, like, things must be considered in advance. And that's how you get to, make yourself, or like how you can prepare yourself in a better way. Otherwise, you never know like where you're going to, what you're gonna achieve. So that derails the whole process. Even for visa, or I know sometimes the visa officers might want to know, like, give a call to the student directly, and that time the student may not be ready to answer all those questions as asked by the visa officer. So, but before that, of course, like, your team like takes a credibility interview and make sure that student is capable enough and
Only pay
qualified
the
enough.
fee. Yeah, they can only pay the fee once they clear the credibility interview. And I'll tell
Absolutely.
the student at the time of the interview itself whether they've cleared it or not.
Hmm. Okay. So, Puneet sir, like maybe like this is the last
For
question
visa
for you. Mhm.
and interviews, they have to be fully prepared because they only get one chance. They can't get a second chance. A visa officer is not going to give a student a second chance.
So must be careful.
Must be fully
You're right.
prepared and well researched.
Hmm. Okay, Puneet sir, like, what would you wanna like suggest to the students who are considering UK as their next destination, like study destination, and ready to
Well,
apply?
this is a very good time to come to the UK as a student
Hmm.
because UK has just exited the European Union.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because of Brexit, a lot of Europeans will now not be able to go back or will not be able to work in the UK because
Hmm.
they will also need to have an IELTS to work.
Yeah. Uh,
So
Absolutely, like,
there's
workforce.
no differential treatment now. If you're a good student, you will be able to get the job.
Mm-hmm.
Not like somebody walks in from Europe, does not even know English, and takes the job. That is not
Yeah.
going to happen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. The good news is like, the students from our part of the world, like, South Asian students has got like good English label, a proficiency
Correct.
label. Yeah, that definitely helps. Like even like during the studies time, they can like find some part-time job, but should not rely on those part-time job like to pay for their tuition and all. But after graduation, they definitely gonna like get the PSW like when they maintain all the student status and as like required by the UKVI. So that way, like they can get the sponsor, the employers to get some years work experience. Maybe like if they want to settle down, they can like apply for even like a settlement and all. So that's a future thing, but for now, what we see as the advantage of being an international student in the UK is like you have multiple opportunities as compared to the past several years. Correct, sir?
Correct.
Okay.
Uh, when you go out of your country,
Mhm.
it sometimes the visa officer would ask you, why are you not studying the course in your home country? Why do
Mhm.
you want to go out? And one
Mhm.
of the valid explanation is that, look, even if I go to the best institution, maybe in India or maybe even in Nepal, you
Mhm.
will be studying only for with students from the same country.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're going out of your home country and maybe coming to UK or Canada or even to US, you
Mhm.
will observe that the classes are made up of at least students from maybe 50, 60 different nationalities. At Northampton, we have 100 different nationality students.
Mhm.
The tutors would make a group of students from different nationalities to come together and then solve a problem. So you
Absolutely.
not only learn from the tutor, you also learn from your peer group, which is very, very useful.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
being in a peer
cannot be
group,
just
and then
one
yeah.
person. You cannot be just saying that, okay, I'm from India, so I only want to work and live in India. No.
Mm.
If tomorrow you start working with Google and Google says, I want to give you a job in Singapore, will you not take it? Or if they say, I want to give you a job in US, will you not take it? Simple as that.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
you have traveled outside your country and if you've studied there and you know how people behave, how they react to different situations, it'll become much easier for you to then work with them later on in life.
Hmm. Yeah,
That,
like you said, like there are not only few opportunities, rather like you can explore so many opportunities, and
correct.
you can actually like take yourself to the whole world stage of the employment, not just like just based on the fact like only Nepal or only India, only your home country has got the opportunities. It's good like you come back to the country and like do a lot of things, but maybe like you want to like do some the jobs outside the country and then get that experience knowledge back home, and then make communities even better. So that's what we got to hear from you as advice. That's it. Yeah.
And the best thing is now, especially with the announcement of the post-study work,
Uh-huh.
even if the student is taking a loan, they will be able to pay back that loan through work, because they
Yeah.
will have 2 years to earn money and pay it back. And even if they want to come back to their home country, they will have some international work experience which they can always mention on their CV, which they
Hmm.
can't do in their home country. So that's the primary difference.
Yeah, that's the beauty of like the UK education and the opportunity to the international students. Like you said, like most of the postgraduate programs are of like 1 year or some with additional months, but they're gonna get like a 2 years PSW. That means like literally they are getting the jobs and then they are paying back to their studies, and then they can make money like in that time also, and then they can like pay off the loans they may have taken for their studies at the campus.
Correct. Correct.
You're right. All right. So, any plan to come to Nepal anytime anytime soon in the future?
We'll see. As of now, the travel is restricted,
Uh,
but once the university says we can move out, then possibly I'll definitely let you know. And it'll be good to meet the team in Nepal face to face
uh-huh.
rather than virtually and maybe see some students when I'm there. So I'll let
Mhm.
you know definitely.
Absolutely. Like our office is open all the days, like
You can
Saturday.
share my number with the students, or you can share my number with
Mhm.
your team. You can get in touch with me on WhatsApp.
Mhm.
These days, you see, one thing which the COVID has changed for the world is that people thought you cannot do business or you cannot talk to people until and unless you sit face to face. Now
Yeah.
that will change
Yeah.
permanently.
Yeah. I
So
agree with you totally.
people will, and this is something that youngsters also need to understand, that the new world order is going to be maybe 30-40% face to face,
Mhm.
another 40-50% online, or a mixture of both, and the business will and the life will move on.
Exactly. I trust you. Like, I agree with you completely.
And the
Great.
benefit of that is that there are no, the digital world has no boundaries.
No
So
boundary.
suppose
You can.
I'm coming to your office in Kathmandu and there's a student in Pokhara who
Hmm.
cannot travel to Kathmandu. I'll still have to do a virtual talk.
Hmm.
There's no
Yeah.
difference
How
between
easy.
doing it from here or sitting in your office in Kathmandu and doing it.
Yeah, like myself, like, I could cover this event, like even sitting here in California, and then yourself having in your regional office in India, and now, like, I'm having the Nepal team, like, joining us as students from every part of the world. So, like, this technology, this virtual world has been so like small. Let's say, like, it's like we
Well,
are. Yeah,
it's been supportive during these COVID times.
yeah. I think
In
we learned.
the real world, how would you communicate?
Yeah, I think the best thing that we achieved during this pandemic is this thing. Like, we, like, actually pull that, future, like, by 10, 15 years, ahead of that. Because there was a time, like, that was a time, like, back then, let's say, in between 2005 and 10, I would remember, like, that time, only few universities would offer online studies, online, like, studies here in the United States, or in the UK and some other countries. And people were just, like, skeptical, like whether they should join the online classes or not. But now, like, that has been popular, and even, now, like, with this pandemic, everything is now going virtual. That means, like, you never know, like, how quickly things changes or things happen, and then, we can connect, how uh, effectively, and how easily.
Correct.
Mhm. All right, and we can't wait to like, welcome you to our office, and like, have you among our potential students, and definitely the University of Northampton. It's Bradford's pride to represent and then bring it to our market. And please do let us know when you are ready to come and
If
see us.
there are any travel plans for Nepal, I'll definitely inform you well in advance.
Absolutely, that's great. And thank you, Puneet sir. And if anything at the end of the
Thank you
show,
so much,
you're
and
welcome to.
everybody on the team, including the students who are going to watch this or who are watching this program.
Mhm.
So thanks a lot to everybody.
Thank you so much. And Puneet sir, I just, like, keep you in the backstage for a while, and then I would like to talk to you after this as well, offline. Thank you. Um, Dear viewers, he was Mr. Punit Malhotra, who is a very popular figure in the recruitment industry for the UK education promotion, and he has been the regional director for many, many years, and for the University of Northampton, and has got a lot of experience about the Nepalese students, and he has helped a lot. And definitely, Bradford has got this privilege to work with him directly, and we'd like to welcome you to our office, meet with our counselors, talk about your study option in the UK, and definitely, like, we'd be happy to help you with the options, the programs at the University of Northampton. And finally, I would like to announce our next live session with the University of Greenwich, London. Um, and it will be on the 1st of March, Monday at 10:45 a.m. Ms. Prerna Guha will be joining us live, and please know that this is one of the popular universities in the UK, and we'll have that great session together with you all. Thank you, and stay safe. Good night from me, and good day to you. All right, bye.